You're doing the introduction this time. Yes, so Goosebumps 2 on Halloween, it's about a boy and his friend and their sister, and they find a book that R.L. Stine left in his house, and then they unleash Slappy, and then Slappy unleashes all of his magical powers and makes all of the Halloween decorations into monsters, and then the three kids have to solve everything. This movie has the same exact problems that the first movie had.
In fact, if you've seen the first movie, you've basically seen this one too.
Yeah. I do think I enjoyed this movie more. There's like a general cheapness to the whole production that just makes a lot of stuff a whole lot more funny.
Yeah, but not enough for me. It needed to be campier or more serious. I was kind of stuck in between and not very satisfied.
Let's talk about the problem with both of these movies.
The colors.
Yes, the lighting. Anybody who is a fan of Goosebumps, who has seen the show or read the books, one of the most distinct things about the series up to these movies was the lighting. And you like look at all the artwork and it's very green, it's very purple, it's very distinct. It like catches your eye. It makes things feel very uneasy, very gross. And then you go see these movies and they're just lit like a comet. Like everything's well lit. Everything is even and perfect and clearly visible. They don't really have fun with the lighting. I do think this movie did a lot more with it than the first one.
Yeah.
There were shots here or there that were done really well, like when Slappy was in the locker.
Yeah, that was cool. And it's basically just Inkheart where everything in the story comes to life. And if Slappy can see it, then he can change it.
There's so much material in this series for them to work with. They could do... there's like a mini book series from the early 2010s called Horrorland, where it's like all these heroes from various stories meeting up in Horrorland. They could do something like that. They could just have like an original story.
They used basically all the same monsters as before.
Yeah, somebody in these productions really likes the Abominable Snowman of Pasadena.
Like, what the heck?
I didn't think that book was that popular. I thought, like, okay, Slappy's popular, and so he's like the central villain.
And he's done really well.
But then there's the Haunted Mask, there's the Scarecrows, there's the Don't Go Into the Basement Dad monster, there's Say Cheese and Die. There's like all these really classic stories that are well known, and they just keep showing the giant abominable snowman.
And because of the power that Slappy had and the fact that it could be any decoration anywhere, they could have created they could have gotten away with making anything. And instead they just showed us the same monsters we saw last time.
That's another thing I liked about this movie. I liked how homemade a lot of the monsters in this movie looked.
The spider was so cool.
Yeah, or even the witches. They had like those weird like foam crystal light up balls for heads. Yeah. And I liked that. But what was Chris Parnell playing? Why wasn't he like the Haunted Mask? He was just a ghoul. When they threw the mask on him, I thought that's what they were doing. I thought he was going to be the Haunted Mask guy. But no, he's just like a throwaway villain.
Yeah. I think what's hard for me about these movies, thinking back to the first one, I remember Slappy and R.L. Stine and like the main events, but I don't remember any of like the live action characters, and I feel that way about this movie where
I actually thought the characters were done much better in this one.
I really didn't care about anything until I heard Jack Black's voice and Slappy showed up. It wasn't that it was done terribly, but it was really mediocre and forgettable and cheesy and...
Okay, well now you're just criticizing Goosebumps as a whole.
No, because I think it took itself like a regular old modern movie instead of being like Goosebumps characters where they're excited. Like, I think these actors haven't read Goosebumps. I think that they.
I think the real problem is that the writer hasn't read Goosebumps.
Yeah, it really did feel that way. Do you think that's true? Would they let someone who hasn't read Goosebumps write this?
Maybe. I mean, I think R.L. Stine had a hand in writing the first movie, and then they probably just are gonna do that until it stops working.
Do you want to talk about the setup for the third one?
I don't want to talk about that.
That's fine. We'll leave it for anyone who wants to go see the movie.
We saw that Jack Black was credited on IMDb as R.L. Stine. We were like, oh, either he's going to be in it for like one scene, or it's going to be a big surprise that he's a bigger part of this movie than the marketing is leading on to. He's in like one scene of this movie.
Oh, that's not fair. I'd say like 6.
He's in his cabin, and then he drives away, and then he's at the end, and he's like, I'm here to save everybody. And they're like, we already saved it, and he's just like, okay.
I liked the part where he got out and saw the town and made all those little jokes.
This movie was funnier than the first one.
So overall, do you consider this one better than the first?
As a movie, it's about on par, but yes, I do think it's better than the first one. I think it's more entertaining. I think it has more fun with like the gimmick, and I think children would enjoy it more.
I think I liked it more. I think it just...
I was thinking about this on our drive home, because I did enjoy this movie more. I don't know if that's because we've gotten more into Goosebumps since we watched the first movie. Because I've been reading the books, I rewatched the whole TV show.
I think that this movie is better than the first one, but because it's so similar to the first one, it suffers. So maybe if the first one just never happened and this movie had come out, I think it would be a lot more satisfying. Because everything in this movie that I don't really like is the fact that it doesn't do anything new. And so I think that's its main hindrance.
And the first one didn't really do anything new.
Yeah, but this one is just such a blatant copy. It's got like the same ragtag team and the same concept with the book and R.L. Stine, and I mean, they even said it. They're reading an article saying, oh, this has happened to another town before.
Their town.
Oh.
That was weird. They referenced the events of the first movie and then mentioned something about the 70s and 80s. And I was like, what? Are they saying that the first movie took place in the 80s?
I think you might have misheard part of that.
Why wouldn't anybody in that town have known what happened several years ago?
They really thought it was in a different town. I don't know.
But his house is there.
No, he had to drive miles.
No, the same house from the first movie.
Oh. Huh.
Unless he just has lived in like multiple scary mansions throughout the nation.
Yeah.
And accidentally left these extremely dangerous books at every house.
You're right. I'm not sure. That's kind of a plot hole, maybe. I don't know. That's strange.
I think what's stranger is that he wasn't a teacher at the school anymore.
Yeah.
The important part is that this is not a movie that needs as much critical thinking. Just don't think about that stuff.
It should just be Goosebumps fun.
However, when I find that kind of stuff distracting me from the movie, it does bring my enjoyment down. Well, do you want to talk about anybody's performance or anything else?
I mean, Jack Black was phenomenal.
I don't know that it was Jack Black. I was looking for him in the credits, and it said the voice of Slappy was somebody else. So they could have had 2 people doing Slappy's voice, or they could have had somebody imitating Jack Black.
That really surprises me. Are you sure? Wow. That was a really good Jack Black impersonation. Whoever did Slappy's voice had a lot of fun with it, and I feel like his lines were delivered better than almost the entire cast.
If everybody else in production had as much fun making this movie as whoever voiced Slappy and Jack Black and Ken Jeong.
Yeah, oh, he was funny.
It would have been really good.
Yeah.
Not good. It would have been really entertaining. I kind of miss that these movies don't take themselves as seriously as the books and TV show. Because I remember being really scared by this stuff as a kid.
I really feel like this movie kind of missed it on the mark, where Goosebumps knew it was silly, but still really took itself seriously and had a lot of fun with what it was doing. And I feel like a lot of people who were a part of this movie didn't understand what they were trying to make.
Well, there were moments here or there, like the balloon spider you brought up and the gummy bears, but it's just all too silly in these movies. It's like a big joke. I don't think I would recommend this movie.
Unless you're a huge fan of the books, and even then you probably would be disappointed, and you've already seen it.
It's not a bad movie. I said this with some other movie some other time. If there's somebody who like wants to see this movie, it's fine. But I'm not going to recommend it.
Agreed.
Jack Black better be in the third one more than 3 scenes.
Yes, please.